In the far distant future, Alexander the Time Traveler encounters a terrifying predatory species that live in tunnels beneath the Earth, the Morlocks.
The darker side of the future world is the world of the Morlocks. They are a society like social insects, like ants or bees. There are hunter Morlocks and there are spy Morlocks, and then ultimately we find the sort of the mind behind all of this, which is the Uber Morlock.
Come a little closer. I don't bite.
In some ways, the Morlocks, and particularly their leader, the Uber Morlock, the character that is portrayed by Jeremy Irons, is the negative mirror image of the technology that Alexander, our time traveler, embraces.
It's a perversion of every natural law.
And what is time travel but your pathetic attempt to control the world around you?
He is the end result of technology gone to hell.
I don't know, I wanted him to be a surprise. He was written originally as the arch-fiend. The sort of the final, the one in which in every film, you know, as you're going through and finally you get to the room and there's the guy.
I can look inside your memories.
He's a pretty brainy fellow, and in fact has a very large brain which spreads halfway down his spine.
Don't worry, you're safe. I control them.
For me, it was a wonderful experience to create Uber Morlock with all the other people who were part of that creation, and to make the costume come alive. He's completely white, and that meant a lot of makeup, which took a long time and a lot of skill to apply. 5 hours every morning. We got white contact lenses for the eyes, so they became white. So I got to know my makeup guys very well. Now go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Creature effects for the Morlocks were created by the Academy Award-winning Stan Winston Studios.
I've been a fan of The Time Machine, the original story, the book, and the original movie since I was a little kid. So the chance to be a part of bringing it back to life on screen was something that was intriguing to me. Also, obviously, the director, Simon Wells. He's the great-grandson of H.G. Wells. So there's history that goes along with the making of this film.
One of Simon's biggest strengths that he brought to the movie was sort of his animation background. He had very strong ideas on what the Morlock should, maybe it's genetic, I don't know, what the Morlock should look like.
I did a lot of design sketches, which I then passed on to Stan Winston's studio. He did a lot of extra sketches.
The direction we took with the Morlocks was greatly influenced by Simon's own sketches. With the exception of the Uber Morlock, the characters that we designed were basically 2 Morlock species, which one was the spies and the other were the hunters.
After the design of the characters done, what we did was we took the performers who were going to be in the suits, had their bodies laser scanned. We then proceeded to actually build the characters. They have life casts taken of their bodies. Person will stand there and have plaster bandage applied to their body and their head. And then from that, we'll pour plaster on the inside or fiberglass to make a positive body form of their body. So we have a duplicate of their body in 3 dimensions. From that, we sculpt on it. We actually take clay and apply it to the body form, and that becomes the character. And then we take it to the paint department where the artists then paint it using a rubber cement-based paint. Smaller details are applied with brushes and stuff like that.
The challenge of bringing the Morlocks to life was to take a character that we haven't seen before, create a character that we haven't seen before, required then for us to use our technical expertise as far as creating an animatronic face. Face with multiple expressions, brow movements, eye movements, lip movement, the ability, jaw movement, to give as much animation to our faces as we possibly could.
It took 3 puppeteers per head to operate it. In other words, you had a guy on eyes doing the blink and up and down, another person on the brow, operating the brow movement up and down, a 3rd person operating the mouth, which was the jaw and the lips.
Dan is nothing short of brilliant. His contribution to this movie has been invaluable, and the best thing is just when you see on screen those Morlocks, they'll be as terrifying as they were 40 years ago.
Those monsters are scary. I mean, when I saw them for the first time, I really just thought I'm not going to have to act at all. I would be genuinely so afraid of them.